Hello, party peoples. Welcome to today's AMA. We'll be getting started here in just a couple minutes. We got a couple more folks to join us up here on stage. And then we have what we think to be a pretty exciting AMA today. We do have a couple updates for everybody. Maybe some new information even, possibly. We'll see. And then, we're going to answer some questions this week too, though. Uh, so we'll get started here in just a minute or two. We'll give us another second for people to trickle in, and then we will get started. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started, and anybody who's not listening is just going to miss out for now, and they'll have to watch the recap or read Sandwich's write-up afterwards. So, with no further ado, we're going to kick off with Frisky Fox.
Thank you, Bolan. Good to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a great week, really a momentous week in the project. We launched over a year ago on Harmony, and as of yesterday, Harmony now has a outpost, which was had some pretty cool effects added to it by Second Best Dad and others. And there's a new track there from Sam, and it's a pretty cool ambiance, but it's also kind of a, I guess, poignant situation there as sort of like the realm of Serendale 1.0 is being shuttered, and we'll be moving to Serendale 2.0 on Clayton. But it really is a unique milestone for us. We now have almost all the way 100% parity of all the features for Crystal Veil, so that's amazing. And there's been really just a tremendous amount of work put in by Beetle Dude and everyone involved there, like Magnus, huge, that was involved in having that happen. And so you saw over the past, I don't know, 6 weeks or I guess almost 2 months of just pretty like frequent releases, like 2 or 3 a week even, which is pretty insane. We have had a release schedule that is supposed to be 2 weeks, and we just really accelerated everything to try to get to where we are now, and that's amazing. I'll probably let Beetle Dude and them talk about that a bit later, but that is a thing that we'll be trying to walk back a little bit more as we sort of go heads down in trying to launch Serendale 2.0 on Clayton. And we had a trailer, I think, this morning, or maybe it was last night, that sort of announced that more on our Twitter and other places as well on our socials, that we will be doing that in Q4. So we're super stoked about that. We actually have a pretty aggressive timeline there as well. And we want to launch things a little bit differently than we have in the past, where you saw with like Serendale Harmony stuff, obviously we were still creating a lot of it, and there was a lot of things that took a long time. With Crystal Veil, you saw a lot of that was built on Serendale first, so we had a good roadmap and blueprint, but it was also our first time having to launch into like a multi-chain universe, I guess you could say. So there was a lot of stuff there that had to be refactored, a lot of learning. But now we've got that under our belt, and really this, I'm excited to see how this goes, because I feel like we've got a really good handle on it and stoked about that. So other things this week, we launched Raffles. That was long awaited, and we have the raffle system is sort of set up to be able to be used by other projects on the chain that want to be part of the build program. And so I'm really excited about that and the opportunity that it brings to work together with other projects and sort of like a metaverse style thing. But you'll see probably like Arena and Fight Club and others will start to make use of that, and you'll be able to earn like raffle tickets through other mechanisms besides just stuff like duels. And as a reminder, that system is set up such that all of the funds that go into that, half of them get burned and the other half go to the quest fund. So it's really a very uh, beneficial situation for like all of the players here in this ecosystem. It's really healthy to have other projects that are using that system. So I'm really excited about that. We have some exciting announcements later, but before we get into that, I did want to talk about, oh yeah, currently there's a problem with duels. I was trying to fix something this morning where matchmaking sometimes gets stuck and must have inadvertently broke it even more. So I'm going to be fixing that shortly after this as well. So ask for your patience there, but we're getting really close on that. And also speaking of duels, we kind of talked about changing up some of the ways that we do rankings. After hearing some of the feedback, we'd like to make it be easier to rank up at the lower levels, and then as you get into the higher ranks where some of the prizes are more like lucrative, it'll be a bit harder to get those higher ranks. So stay tuned for that as well. And then speaking of duels and ranks, Season 0 was announced last night by Sashay, who had a big hand in that, and also Bolon. We have the prizes that we want to do for Season 0 fleshed out, and we'll be holding the raffle for that tomorrow. So be sure to tune in for that. I did have a question about that too, about what about players that went in and they won one and they lost one and they ended up with 0 points at the end. We do want to give all of our players at least one raffle ticket if you participated. So we will be adjusting that as well, just FYI. So be sure to tune into that. That'll be really fun. There's some other things I'll talk about in a bit. The vote, though, that was another one. The vote. We have 3 votes right now that are active on the voting portal. And 2 of them are sort of what to do about specific situations related to Lot Jewel and the airdrop. And the other one is a very momentous vote about what the future governance for the protocol will be. And I'm really stoked about that one in particular. There's a lot of work that has gone into that. Last week in our AMA, we spent a large amount of the time talking about what Jeweler 2.0 will look like, what is C Jewel, what is S Jewel, and spoiler alert, it's the same thing. But how how do those work, and what is the difference between X Jewel, and what are the benefits that we get over X Jewel? And there's a lot of them, and we sort of had all that up there in the vote, so be sure to go check that out if you haven't voted already. I have had some people ask, what is the threshold for these votes? And I forgot to add that in. We do usually put that in. Generally speaking, most of our votes just need a simple majority, but we do want to have a higher threshold for anything that's impacting like governance or any big changes like that. So for the Lot Jewel edge cases there with the hacked and the lost funds due to the bug, those ones will be simple. And for the C Jewel one, that will be a 2/3. So that's just sort of like following the pattern that we've always done. And hopefully that helps to clear that up. Sorry, that wasn't in there in the first place. There's still a lot of time to go vote. It's been, I think, just over 12 hours, but there's a day and a half left. So be sure to go check those out. Be sure to go vote. And if you want to like change your votes too, that's always possible. That's actually one of the cool features of our system. So be sure to go read it, understand it, ask questions in Discord. There's a lot of helpful people there that explain that. And I guess to also clarify, I've had some people ask like, what does it mean if the vote is rejected, in particular for the hacked one? Because some people have thought when or if that vote is approved, we'll be allocating those lot jewels to the rightful owner. But if it's not approved, that those lot jewels will be burned, and that's not the case. Those lot jewels are going to be allocated either way. It's just a matter of who gets them. Are we going to give them to the hacker, or are we going to give them to the people that were hacked? And I think a lot of people, and myself included, feel that those should go to the people that were hacked. That's the point of that vote. So please go make your voices be heard. But just to clarify, those will be allocated either way. It's not adding any additional jewels or lot jewels into the pot. It's just basically saying who gets them. So please go vote, and hopefully that clears up those things. And I will turn time over to Dreamer for some exciting announcements and stuff.
Cool. Thanks, Fox. Yeah, so first I just want to comment on duels. I think it's been under a week and we're just about to hit 30,000 duels played. It's really exciting. I think it's a simple mini game and it is something that is probably going to continue to improve over time. Even with our development of PvP, PvE ongoing. It's not really meant to compete with that, but it's meant to offer a different, simplified yet strategic experience. So just really appreciate everybody's support and understanding that, like every aspect of DeFi kingdoms, we are building things out real time and we appreciate feedback, appreciate support, and we just hope to keep making things more fun, more meaningful, more balanced, and yeah, looking towards the future. So excited to continue to celebrate those milestones and to use that tool in addition to summoning, questing, leveling, and other features to reward people in game. And give a couple updates on committees that we have. So in the last couple months, we have formed committees that we've referenced a few times. We find it really important to make sure that any like medium, major, even small decision, when at all possible, is not just on one person. We identify best people to make decisions for certain like types of decisions. We group those by committees. So one of those committees is the Kingdom Builders Committee, where we review all of the submissions and have people from the blockchain side, people from community, biz dev, development side to come together to give comments on how we help folks in the community and third parties get added into currently the castle, and going forward we might see further expansion on those efforts. We did hear last week reference to a new type of submission that would be catered towards the content creators, and actually in the castle there's a live artist there that we hinted towards that's like best dad put together, and in the coming weeks we're looking to link in some people as it relates to content creation. Just a reminder, anything related to lore, art, or I guess videos, podcasts, YouTube channels, and others. If you have any interest to have a link to your site and submit some of your DeFi Kingdoms related content, please go to the build site and submit those requests. We'll be reviewing them and getting them included in that fancy new artist whenever we can. Another committee update, tokenomics committee. There's a lot of juicy topics this week. I feel like every week has been a juicy tokenomics committee where we put all of our brains together and try to get to good solutions. I think one interesting update will come later from Magnus that some might be excited about. But one of the topics this week was Serendale 2.0 relaunch Gen 0 allocation. How are they going to be allocated? As we led up to Crystal Vale last time, I think pretty early on we released the different snapshots and the different ways that you could be eligible for a Gen 0 in Crystal Vale. Well, this go, we wanted to also give people enough time ahead of the potential relaunch to understand how those would be allocated. And currently we have 4 ways to be eligible. There might be additional ways in the future, but right now these 4 are going to make up the majority, the vast majority of rewards. So the first one is going to be contingent on one of the outstanding votes that currently is running at like 99% pass rate. So excited about that. Hopefully the S/C Jewel proposal is accepted when everything is said and done, and we can move forward with Jeweler 2.0, which will be a good source of a snapshot for Gen Zeros. So that'll be exciting to have that launch. And with that, people should keep in mind X Duel will essentially have to be no more because we are replacing it with C Duel and S Duel, and X Duel can't really live no matter what with this proposal because it is originating from Harmony, right? The jeweler that was on Harmony. So with that, the Duel to X Duel pool will also be fading away with the relaunch of Jeweler 2.0. So just want to make sure people understand that timeline. They understand that C Duel and that proposal is replacing X Duel and the currently live X Duel, the Duel pool, which was initially intended to provide a way to earn crystal and to provide an off-chain, off-harmony means of like a synthetic jeweler. All of those means will really be met, and Jeweler 2.0 will be there and be a good source of Gen Zero potential earning or reward allocation. Another one is going to be a summoning exercise, and I believe we've done one of
I just wanted to chime in real quick. Sorry to clarify. Actual Jewel will not be retired if when the vote passes, but when Jeweler 2.0 is launched, correct?
that is correct. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'll also just add a couple thoughts here, because it might be confusing for some people. Like, what happens to my X Jewel? You can still redeem your X Jewel for Jewel that isn't going away, and it won't be going away. So basically, if you want to get the new awesomeness of the new C Jewel, you just redeem your X Jewel for Jewel, and then swap that in for C Jewel, and you'll be back in business.
Yeah, so to clarify my poorly worded comment of going away, X will no longer be like a governance token, assuming the proposal passes, and the fee sharing in Crystal Vale, assuming it passes, will feed into the Jeweler 2.0, and the Jeweler on Serendale 2.0 on Clayton will feed into the Jeweler 2.0. So thanks for adding those comments. Anything else to add there before I move on to the Gen Zero reward breakdown?
I could talk for days about how awesome C Jewel is going to be, but I think we've already seen that. So, yep, go ahead.
Okay, so there's going to be a summoning exercise, and this is really designed to reward those that are playing summoning to have a chance to win a Gen Zero as well. There's going to be a good chunk handed to this exercise, more details to come, but at its simplest form, when the period starts up until it ends, anybody that is summoning is going to receive a chance to win a Gen Zero. So with that, duels and raffles are the last two buckets. So last time around, we did have a jeweler. We did have different exercises like summoning and others, but we didn't have duels live. So we definitely want to reward people that are actively playing. We're trying to think of how to allocate rewards and duels. It could be linked to the ranking system. Could also use the Raffles system, and we might actually do majority upfront for launch, but reserve a good chunk to continue to incentivize people playing duels in later seasons as well. So those four buckets right now are Jeweler 2.0 through summoning, playing duels, and then as a reward in the raffle system. So excited there. We might have some other ideas in the future, but for now, that is the breakdown. Speaking of Serendale 2.0 relaunch, we do have one thing that we need to get out of the way. We keep saying KPT or Clayton Power Token. I think a few of us have already slipped or almost slipped. I think I've had to correct myself a couple of times to not say what we were planning for this token. But we wanted to take the AMA today to drop a short trailer, compliments of Dragon Tea and the marketing team with support from Poppy, Mother Brain, Pieface, and Riz and Bolon, a lot of people that have helped put this together. we're going to be putting on display some art that Second Best Dad, JMW, and others have contributed to. A lot of time and effort has gone into this release. A lot of collaboration as well with some folks and feedback from community, our partners at Clayton. And we're just really excited to move forward with this partnership, to move forward in the new target region, and to make sure that we bring back to life Serendale with this relaunch. But with that, we need the token. So we're going to pause here for a release and launch of that trailer, and we'll comment on it in about 30 seconds. Bolon, if you want to just like let us know if and when it's live, and if that's going to be dropped in the AMA.
Yep, it's
chat.
live in AMA Voiceless now. It is also live on Twitter, and it has been pinned in AMA Voiceless as well. So if you're listening in, pick a source, and it is there, which also means it's live on our YouTube as well. So anywhere you can think of to go view it, get at it.
Starting to see some comments. All right. Cool. So for any that haven't seen the trailer or haven't rewatched it 4 or 5 times like I did when it was complete, first of all, I just think really well done on all fronts. If we think about Duel and then our next token, Crystal, and the whole theme that we have, where we're using, I guess there might be controversy with this term, but like precious stones, I think Bolon has his own opinion, but precious stones, Jewel, Crystal, and we're thinking about, okay, Clayton, when we did Crystal, we looked at Avalanche and we saw their token, it's ice themed, and I think Pieface was the one that ran with that and really tried to design it around like a mountainous theme and ice themed, and the whole realm and everything was just beautiful, and it was made for them. As we were moving Serendale to a new chain, we didn't want to just say, okay, find and replace with, harmony with new chain. We want to still make it personal. We want to make it reflect the digitalized or visualized metaverse of the chain that we're on. So Second Best Dad and the whole art team has been hard at work to brainstorm different ways to make that more unique and special to that chain. And I think over time, we'll actually see it evolve as well. There's been a lot of talk of, NPCs making their way in even after launch. There's been a lot of talk of some unique things within the map that we can make unique for the relaunch. But with Jade, and I'm so happy we can now say Jade, Jade is a precious stone, I guess you could say, and in the region that is associated with a lot of wealth, success, and value. So we're hoping that it can be recognized to represent the awesome technology and the really healthy ecosystem on Clayton, be a nod towards the region, and also be exciting in the gameplay that's to come with the new classes that we're not releasing today, but we will look to release in the coming weeks or month, and all the additional features that will come in the future. So I will pause there for any comments from the team on either the creation or excitement for the new Jade token.
First on mute. Real quick reminder, there will probably be Jade tokens that are getting created as we speak. They're not ours. We will tell you what ours is. Don't fall for it, please. You're not going to find ours before it's available. You're not going to get it. Just please don't buy Jade because you think it's our Jade. It's not. We'll let you know.
I feel called out since this is like a question about creation. So here, I saw Fox on mute, but I beat him this time. There were some challenges to go with the creation of a new token, especially a green token, to have it be visually unique at a glance and different than our existing green token, which is already really well known in the space. So we went through, a bunch of different iterations, and then our new artist JMW took it over and just absolutely knocked it out of the park and shamed us all. So he gets all the credit. We're really excited to have him on the team. I'll let Fox talk now.
Thank you. Just like looking at the token itself, it's beautiful. I really wish that we had Second Best Dad and Jane W and all these amazing like folks from the very start, but we have them now, and we're like really reaping the rewards of that. It just looks amazing, and I can't wait to have all of the Jade. So super stoked about that, and just from a lore and cultural sort of ambiance, it really fits, and I just sort of want to second everything that was said earlier by Dreamer there. Like it's just like awesome direction that we're going in with that, and I'm excited for the other things that will be coming with Serendale 2.0 as well.
Awesome. Before I move on, I'm still just looking at the picture of Jade because I really like the token. The dragon's awesome. Dreamer, did you have anything else you wanted to add into that update before we keep going?
No, I guess just a general update. Sunbear and myself have been extremely busy meeting with people after token. So we did get an update on token. Won't repeat all that, but we are still working through a lot. So if anybody's listening here and they're like, "Man, we met the Austin team in Singapore, and we give them our contact, and they haven't reached out to us yet," please don't be afraid to reach out as well. Also, be patient. I think yesterday we had back-to-back meetings pretty much all day, and we still have so many contacts to get through. So we're excited about all of the interest. To recap, we're looking at a number of things. We're really excited for other games. It doesn't really matter what chain you're on either. We're getting pretty creative about ways we can collaborate, especially like with the pet system, with Raffles system, stuff in the castle. If you're a game that is thinking like, hey, we were inspired by DeFi Kingdoms, or we see some potential collaboration, and you're wondering if we'd be interested, the answer is most likely yes. So please reach out, or if you are connected to or in other communities, don't be afraid to suggest certain collaborations. We want to do those. We're talking to a lot of others as it relates to getting geared up for understanding centralized exchange listings, other listings on dexes, working with overall like DeFi aggregators and optimizers, trying to just see what's possible there, especially with everything on the ecosystem over on Clayton, are working towards additional features on DFK chain and potential like price feeds that could help there as well. So yeah, just an update on the hard work there. There's actually a really exciting call on the topic of tax yesterday, looking to have more in-game features with a potentially one specific professional that seems to be a good potential resource to the community. So just wanted to share a lot of hard work with everything else going on, a lot of hard work with making those connections, building those relationships. We're getting a lot of people in our Slack connects. We're going to have a long list now of collaborators and soft partners. So excited to be to be starting and building and extending those partnerships.
Awesome. I know Magnus had a quick update for us as well before we move on into the questions. So we can knock that out and then we'll head to some questions.
Hello, everyone. So I've got quite a few different DFK chain related announcements today. The first of those is there's a major upgrade to the subnet EVM. Activation time is October 18th. And so we've been preparing our nodes for that this week. If you're running nodes in the community, be sure to upgrade yours before October 18th when that activates. It's kind of like going to be on the C chain as well as any subnets attached to that. So check out the Ava Labs Twitter account for more details, as they've been posting the patch notes on version 1.9.0 of Avalanche Go and version 4 of the subnet EVM. So be sure to check that out. The second announcement is we'll also be increasing the min base fee from 2 to 3 GUI as another small tweak to the gas fee config while we're continuing to monitor the performance metrics of the chain. And then the third announcement, I know this is kind of been a long time coming, and we've hinted at this for a while, but thanks for everyone's patience for the last several months as we kind of bootstrapped DFK chain using the subnet EVM technology provided by Ava Labs. So with that, I'm excited to announce today that we've decided internally on the tokenomics committee to remove the contract deployment allow list on DFK chain, which means DFK chain will now allow for permissionless contract deployment as you're accustomed to on most blockchains. Let me just clarify that that's going to require a hard fork. So we're targeting roughly 2 weeks out for that. And then even if you're not a smart contract dev and you've been trying to deploy a multi-sig on DFK chain or create a new liquidity pool on our DEX, that will now be available as well once that hard fork activates. And so this hard fork is going to basically self-destruct that precompile, and so that there won't be any need to allow us certain deployer addresses or anything like that. And we're shooting roughly for October 27th for that update to take place, and that's subject to change given like testing on testnet and things like that. And we'll be posting the exact timestamp that's happening, as well as like the upgrade bytes you'll need to add to your nodes on our DFK chain Twitter account, our Discord, as well as the Avalanche Discord as well, just to make sure we get as much coverage as possible this time prior to DFK chain hard fork. Anyway, those are my 3 announcements today. That's it for me.
If I could add a couple thoughts there too. First of all, big kudos to Magnus. He's just really been just so crucial for all of the stuff we've been doing with the chain. He's been handling like queuing up all of the upgrades and staying on top of all of the updates that are being done from Ava Labs and just stuff like that. So it's really an exciting milestone because we have obviously this amazing chain which we have tweaked and optimized to be able to run stuff on the blockchain that are suited for like online games and stuff. So we've created this amazing thing as a result of basically having to break other chains in the process. We're like, okay, what can we learn from this? How can we scale it? How can we create a good blockchain that's a good place for that? And we want to invite other games and other projects to come and build on that as well. And this is a major step in that direction. And I'm just super stoked about being able to open that up to anyone who wants to come and who wants to be a part of that amazing journey with us. So kudos to Magnus and looking forward to the future.
A couple thoughts on that also, because they'll actually answer some questions, and please feel free to jump in if I say something wrong, but I think I'm correct on this one. So with DFK chain opening, a few people have asked about multi-sigs. Right now, if I am correct, we're working with some multi-sig providers to get DFK chain supported, because that issue is actually less on the whitelisting side and more on the fact that they are not yet supporting DFK chain, but we're hoping to change that. Is that correct?
Yes and no. They're both blockers.
Go ahead.
But I think technically after we drop the whitelisting, it's just it'll be a lot easier if you like wanted to deploy your own multi-sigs. That's entirely possible to do after we have that get like dropped, because there's Gnosis Safe, for example, has some pretty good ones out there that we actually use for some of the team wallets and things. Defender from Open Zeppelin is another one that we use internally, that we're trying to get them to add support for everyone. So basically anyone could just go and make accounts with them and be able to have all the amazing functionality there on our chain as well, which we also pioneered them adding that for Harmony. If anyone remembers back earlier in the project, we basically brought them to Harmony and added support to Harmony through them. And we want to do the same thing with our own chain now as well. The transactions and like the users and all those things on our own chain are orders of magnitude higher than some of those others now as well. So it's only fair, I think, and we're going to be pushing that.
Awesome. Thank you for the clarification there. And then one other thing, in terms of like info sites such as DApp Radar, we are working on making sure that all of those have the correct and updated contracts. Mr. Zipper's actually been kind of leading the front on that, which is super appreciated. But a similar thing, so like DApp Radar, for example, specifically does not support subnets yet. So we made sure that they had all of the right Avalanche contracts. So it's at least more accurate than it was. And then obviously once we launch Serendale 2.0, we'll make sure that all of those contracts are updated, but it will not reflect DFK chain statistics yet. All right. So that was a couple of questions. And then for our first other question, we're going to go to Beetle Dude. It is about adding some options to the Crystal Vale hero catalog, such as like a toggle switch that says I only want to see Serendale heroes versus only Crystal Vale heroes, just adding some options to improve that filtering.
Cool. Yes, that's actually on our to-do list of quality of life improvements. Is basically letting people see Serendale, Crystal Vale, or both, similar to the other toggles. So yes, it's on the roadmap. I think we should probably be able to get that out in the next release or something similar.
Awesome.
Approved.
Perfect.
Do it.
This one actually might also be for you. It is about the profile achievements. We've talked about them before. Obviously, a lot has happened since we talked about them. So the question is really just, is that still part of the plan, or did we decide to do something else on that front?
Cool. Yeah, this is also a great question. We are still moving forward with profile achievements. Our illustrious API wizard Pinecone has been working on on hookups for an achievement system, basically. That's right. Pinecone knows I'm watching him. But yeah, that's it. That's in the works. I think we'll be leveraging our API to kind of make that a simpler process and make it easier to serve up to the end user. But we'll kind of start with a small number of profile achievements and kind of work our way out and continue adding them as we go. So definitely on the roadmap. I think we need to get it prioritized here soon because I think the API is getting to a place where we can start hooking into that and using it. So making progress.
Awesome. I do appreciate it. Also,
Yeah.
you said the buzzword, so I'm just going to go ahead and address because it's mentioned in a couple questions. Anyway, roadmap. Yes, the current one is somewhat outdated because of all of the changes that have had to happen. We do plan on having a new version of the roadmap. We do not have one prepared today. We're in the process of kind of figuring out the order of priorities moving forward post parity, at which point we will then get a new roadmap put together and put out. If anyone else would like to comment on that, feel free. But I feel like that's kind of the general overview, at least. I take it no one else wants to comment. Perfect. So let's see. Other questions we've got here is... for the record, we do not have Hubert with us today. He is on vacation right now, taking some well-deserved time off. So there are a few like directly mechanic related questions. I am glossing over those for today because Hubert is not with us, but we will circle back to them when we do have Hubert with us. Let's see. We've ended up inadvertently answering a lot of these questions, actually. Here's one, actually. We've talked good as a reminder for Fox, how will the current vesting X Crystal be handled with the X Crystal phase out?
Yeah, good question. Those will still work how they're set up right now. Basically, I think we have those vesting up until March for some of them. Yeah, I think March. And the reason we did that was because when we launched, there was a lot of traffic on the bridge, and not everyone was able to get their stuff bridged in time for the time that we set. So we extended that and we said, okay, let's extend it by, I think it was a day or two until all of the bulk of the bridges were able, or the transactions were able to be completed. And then we looked at how much crystals would have been minted during that time, and we airdropped that to people who were there or who like would have otherwise been there, I guess you could say. And those were set to vest over the next year, I believe. So those will still work. They'll still be able to vest. You'll still be able to claim them as they unlock, and you will be able to, of course, swap them for crystal, and all of that will work the same. So there's not going to be a lot of changes there. The main changes there have already actually happened, which is that X crystal is no longer a governance token with the vote that we did back then. And with C-Jewel, the fees that would be going to X crystals would be going to C-Jewel instead, because it's the new jeweler. I think, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. There might be a couple that are still going to X crystal, but I don't think that's the case, because the whole point of this is basically saying Jeweler 1.0, which was the X crystal X Jewel system, is being replaced by something even better, which is the C-Jewel S-Jewel system. So, yep, hopefully that answers it. I'm sorry there's some I didn't give a definite answer on, but I'm pretty sure those fees that were being collected for X Crystal will be transitioned to S-Jewel and C-Jewel. So, yep.
That makes sense. I appreciate it. So another question for Magnus, has upgrading to Uniswap V3 been considered?
Yeah, so it's definitely something we're looking at for the future. Our current DEX is like a non-upgradable contract, as most DEXs are. So when the time comes to for Uniswap V3 for their licensing to basically become unlocked, and so I believe that's April 4th or April 1st of next year. It'll be free to be used under like a different licensing agreement, which will be more open and allowable by the community. So we'll kind of evaluate that at that point. But when that time comes, it would be not an upgrade, but just like a replacement, and then we'd have to migrate over all the liquidity. But yeah, no plans on that yet, even though we are evaluating that, because it's a really cool piece of technology and allows for cool things like limiting your basically like liquidity providing range, so you don't get hit with as much impermanent loss. There's some really cool tools built around that. So yeah, definitely something we're considering. We're just waiting for that licensing agreement to change before we move on to evaluating that.
Very nice. I do appreciate the update. One other request, I guess, would be more accurate than question, but I think it's back. It's actually back on the vote topic, so I'm a little out of order. Apologies, but essentially, why we put those to a vote.
What was the question again?
Essentially, just like why we put the like hacked and locked jewel restoration to a vote.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that we were like, do we need to vote for this? And like, I guess when in doubt, we would like to have votes for things, and we'd like to have more votes more frequently. We obviously want to be able to take advantage of the unique strengths that our project has as a decentralized project. The argument was made, oh, if it was a bug in the smart contract, that even though it's not our front end that facilitated that, it was from individuals who were sort of interacting with the blockchain directly. It still was a bug, and we got that fixed in Crystal Vale, and it will be fixed in Serendale 2.0. And for stuff in the past when there's bugs, we've just automatically made it right. But with this one, since it's involving a snapshot and an airdrop, and it's basically saying like, let's adjust things there, the thought was, yeah, let's put that up for a vote. Same thing with the hacked one as well. Most of the time when stuff is hacked on the blockchain, that's it. There's nothing anyone can do. And that's true 99% of the time. But sometimes when we're doing things like this, like airdropping and snapshotting and such, we actually have the unique opportunity to be able to do some of those cool things. But of course, we didn't want to do that unless it's a collective agreement that the majority wants to have. Because again, we're not, like unilaterally able to make all of those decisions. So we want to involve everyone in that. So as I said, when in doubt, we would like to hold votes for things, and you'll see a lot more of those going forward as well.
Awesome. I do appreciate it. Well, that really kind of wraps us up, except for the mechanics related questions. There were more of them than I had anticipated in that mix. So at this point, we can do some closing comments and call it a day for the AMA. I'm gonna randomly pick on people that are up here. Pieface, we haven't heard you talk yet. So any closing thoughts or thoughts about anything we've talked about?
Hey, yes, I do have closing exciting thoughts. And it's very exciting. It's a teaser of something that's coming to the merch store, and just very very long awaited. And it's our bloater plush. I mentioned a few weeks ago that it was on a boat and making its way over to the States, and it arrived not yesterday, like a few days ago actually. And yes, we have a gif that's of them, and they came to my house and they were very squished, and they had to be fluffed up. And so I just love staring at them spinning around in my dryer. It's amazing. And so they are very very squishy and very huggable and punchable, and just I love them so much, and I'm so excited for them. It'll probably take a couple weeks or a few weeks or so to get them onto the store, because we'll actually be doing like our own fulfillment. And yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm very excited for every person to have a floater plush, and you can hug them when price is up, you can punch them when price is down. It's awesome. So I'm very excited for everybody. We'll definitely let you know when they're live on this merch store. So yeah,
I'm glad you clarified why you included punch in there, because I was gonna ask.
yeah, it's awesome. I'm also excited for everyone to get them. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Pie. Second best dad, we haven't heard too much from you either.
I'm just waiting on my bloater plush. Other than that, I don't really have anything other than okay.
Fair enough. I don't have a response to that. Beetle dude.
Why? Why you gotta do this to me, second best dad? Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I feel like I've been saying every single week for like months that Crystal Bear parody is so close. But I think we're actually there. So I'm excited that we get to start kind of diving into the new stuff, and also the 2.0 migration. Just excited that we get to move forward. Yeah.
All right. Magnus, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just say I'm looking forward to working on new stuff again, and also deploying on Clayton.
Beautiful. Real quick before we go to Dreamer and then Fox and close out, as always, just appreciate everybody being here. 6 of you up here taking the time out of your day to do this AMA, and everybody in the audience taking the time out of their day to listen to it and post questions throughout the week. Like I said, the mechanics questions that we didn't do today, we will do when Hubert is back and available to answer all of them. So we may have a pretty Hubert heavy AMA for him to return to, but please keep submitting questions for next week's AMA. It's super useful, and it gives us insight into what y'all want to hear about, which makes these way more effective. Dreamer?
Yeah, I'm excited to get my own stress bloater to punch and hug. And excited for all the other updates. I think there's been a lot of questions in AMA voiceless chat that we've been trying to respond to. So I'm just trying to understand, the comments that Magnus shared, the significance of removing whitelisting on DFK chain. It's really exciting. I'm just going to recap here because there might be some that didn't quite understand. Not all of us are as technical as Magnus, the Goat, and Fox, and Beetle, and everybody else, me included. So I'm going to share as I understand things. When we launched DFK chain, we were really the flagship subnet, and we have kind of retained that role on top in terms of transactions and in terms of innovation. And the awesome team at Ava Labs works really closely with Magnus and others as things progress all together. And this is one bit of that progression. So at launch, you probably want to control as many of the variables as you can. We want things to be stable. We want it to be safe. And one of those variables was who can launch a contract. So for this time, we had a process that was quite manual that Sunbear and others helped that flowed into the Kingdom Builder committee in order to allow people to whitelist. So if somebody wanted to launch contracts, they would say, we want to co-market. Here's our proposal, and here's the request. And a few were given the ability to launch contracts, or they were quote unquote whitelisted. With this update, and DFK chain will be similar to many other chains out there that are like permissionless in nature. Anybody can launch stuff. So we feel like the chain is ready for it. Ava Labs had given that update as well. So that's just an exciting step forward towards like decentralization and what many people believe crypto and Web3 is all about. So just want to elaborate there live a little bit. Really excited about Jade, Clayton, Serendale 2.0, and that launch. I'm excited to not have to worry about saying Jade. Actually, it slipped a couple times and people didn't realize it. So I'm happy that I never got in trouble. But yeah, we're stoked on that. For anybody that is excited and supportive there, feel free to share with others. We've already seen a couple memes and things. Jade and Crystal are meant to be the main game tokens with all the game utility around summoning and gameplay, leveling up, and so on. Whereas Duel is intended to be that like broad ecosystem token, and really depegging it from the game token gives us a lot of benefits. Some have been asking about centralized exchanges. A lot of the negatives linked to that are mitigated a bit through the restructuring. Duel will be focused on gas governance, fee sharing, and then premium services. We have a lot we're cooking up for what that means. Essentially, holding a certain amount of S/C Duel will result in a lot of premium services and benefits in the game as it relates to questing, possibly dual season rewards and other things. So just kind of recapping all the awesome things that we went over today. I know it felt quicker, but there were some big things dropped. Excited about all of it. I am bullish, but I won't yell it because I'll wait for Frisky to close us out.
I guess I'm next, and yeah, that's a lot of pressure. I'm gonna have to think about that. I did want to say a few other words too. It's been, as I said at the start, it's been an amazing week, and even just the past month or two as we've been transitioning off of Harmony towards our plan for Serendale 2.0. It's really cool to see the amount of work that's been put in, and having 2 or 3 or 4 sometimes releases in like 1 week. It's insane how you like look around at this space. There's a lot of projects that are kind of just idling. Some have closed down even. It's hard to continue to build during this time. And I feel like our project has not only maintained our pace, but actually accelerated our pace. And it's really amazing to see that. That said, a lot of those things are stuff that we didn't originally plan on having to do. And it's amazing that now that we've got that done, it's sort of like theme forward on some of the fun things, like relaunching Serendale 2.0 with some interesting new art and NPCs and lore, and like some new features and things there as well. but then really starting to get into the fun stuff of like building out more of the game features that we're all so excited about. And that's what I'm really stoked about as well. So kudos to the team. They've been hard at work. It's just really amazing to see the output they've been doing, and just how well everyone works together, and the energy that we have in our project. It's really fun every day to just wake up and be able to say I get to work on this amazing project. Also, a shout out to the community. You guys are awesome as ever. And it's really cool to be able to pop into our Discord and just see all the excitement and energy that's there as well. The bloaters are amazing. I was able to get my paws on one of those bloaters yesterday, and it's really cool. So kudos to Pi on that, and for all the work she does as well. Partnerships, there's been a lot of really cool projects that are like reaching out. I think the events that we have been to have been just really amazing for us in terms of trying to find other like-minded projects that want to work together towards something that is mutually like just a like really good thing to work with them, and just have that in with a lot of these really cool projects out there. Like, we are basically on the cutting edge of what is being built right now, and we want to always maintain that edge. So super stoked about that as well. And yeah, just for us being able to be on these two chains, Okay, I had to do that one. It's just really cool to now be expanding onto our third chain ever, and we're stoked about that. And yeah, I guess basically with that, I'll just end it with a big bullish. Thanks everyone for coming, and I'll see you guys in Discord.
Bullish.
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 Two-chain.
Bullish.